Okay.
All right. Should we start?
Yeah, let's go.
Great. So, this week we had a really good discussion in the forums about the different functions of money and how well or not well Bitcoin fulfills those functions. And, you know, uh, Don and I were really pleased with how well you all conducted that discussion and with a lot of the topics that came up. I think a couple of things that I'd like to underscore is that, first of all, you all had a really good sense of the limitations of Bitcoin as a means of exchange, that it's a good means of exchange, but there's just not so much available right now in the market that you can buy with Bitcoin. There was quite a bit of discussion on whether Bitcoin was a store of value. And, one issue that came up a lot is that in any Bitcoin transaction, almost immediately, a lot of the clients that are involved in processing those transactions immediately convert them into dollars, and the dollar is sort of held as really the store of value in that instance. There was some discussion. I know Joanne talked about the way that Bitcoins are being used in some instances as gifts, or Dogecoins were being used as gifts, and there were some instances of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies being used for things like, wedding gifts or dowry payments or whatever, and that was kind of interesting. Um, the one discussion thread that people really picked up quite a bit was Bitcoin as a unit of account, and there was some discussion around the blockchain as a kind of public ledger serving as a record of transactions that thereby established Bitcoin as a unit for accounting for the credits and debts that people had with each other in that community. So we were pretty pleased with how that discussion unfolded, and we think that it really nicely laid the groundwork for thinking about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in relation to money itself.
Yeah, Bill, one thing that I hear a lot when people start talking about money is they'll talk about things like gold having intrinsic worth. And I was I was surprised someone didn't bring up the idea of what I guess is referred to as the use value of the token that's being used as money.
Yep. So with gold, gold is often seen as having a kind of intrinsic value, but really gold's value is just a convention. Gold in itself doesn't have any kind of use at all, except maybe as jewelry or because it's pretty and doesn't corrode. Other tokens of money historically have had their own use, have had a use value separate from their value in exchange. So take something like, furs. Furs can be used as a medium of exchange and as a store of value, but also furs, the pelts of animals, can be used as clothing and keep you warm. Or, beans. I think that, Don had a comment in the threads this week about beans. Beans can be used as a token of value, but beans also can be sustenance. You can use them to feed yourself and give you protein and sustain your life.
And cell phone minutes too.
Cell phone minutes, too, can be used to talk in addition to being used as a medium of exchange or a method of payment. You can use a cell phone minute to repay a debt to somebody. If I don't have any cash, but I owe you some money, I can send you some minutes, and you can use those minutes either to talk or you can cash them out at a kiosk or at some vendor who will exchange those minutes for money. So, often the tokens for money that we use do have a use value, do have a value separate from their value in exchange. But a lot of the things that we conventionally think of as valuable, like silver or gold, don't really have a use value at all. You can't eat them. You can't, convert them into talk or text or whatever the way you can airtime minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess in talking about it as a unit of account, the blockchain being a unit of account, this week we're going to go into depth on the blockchain. And
Right.
I'm kind of excited about it. It gets a little bit technical at points, but I think this is the point. This is the place where we're going to see a lot of innovation over the next 5, 10 years, because the blockchain really strikes me as something that's technically very new, or at least innovative in the software sector.
Right. And one thing we've got too in the Explore section of the syllabus this week are examples of other uses for the blockchain besides using the blockchain as a way to confer and convey value. So, for instance, we've got Monograph, which is a blockchain-based system for establishing the authenticity of digital works of art. And if you think about it, a digital work of art has some of the same characteristics as a digital currency. I can copy it, right? I can cut it and paste it, and you don't know what's the original version or not. I can sort of double spend a digital work of art. I can give Don a copy and give you a copy, and neither of you know which one is really real. And I know it might sound weird to talk about what's really real in a digital environment, but if I'm an artist, I may want to control the distribution of my works of art and have some kind of custody management for my work, for my art, for my productions. And so Monograph is an instance of using a blockchain-based system to establish that kind of provenance in the domain of digital artwork.
So our videos are gonna give you some background on sort of the blockchain. We're also going to kind of lead you up to a lab we've got this week, where we're hoping that you will get a chance to actually send some Bitcoin. That'll be sort of the lab assignment that we've got for you. And by the time you get to that, hopefully you'll watch some of the videos that point out some of the places where you need to take some care before you start investing your millions in Bitcoin. So
that's right. Great.
Okay.
Well, we hope there's a bunch. There's reading that you've already done some of, but we want you to go over it again. The Chris Clark Bitcoin Internals book, and then there's some videos. There's a lab and a quiz and a discussion forum, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing is we'll launch a new Ask Us Anything forum for week 3 to pick up anything about this week.
Great.
Great. Thanks a lot.